Like this. Huh?
808 Mafia.
Hey, I came a long ways. Stayed on the ground in them hallways. Other side would be blissing on all plays. They ain't want me to make it, they cause hate. If it's money, I can't let the cow wait.
Life. You only get one. Why float through? Why not be your best version? No more excuses. Keep getting better. Become addicted to progress. On the gas. At the wheel. Until the end. Spread hate. Always party.
I'm Matt Vincent. I was born in Sulphur, Louisiana. What do I do? That's changed a lot. At this point, I do a variety of things. I have a podcast. I own an apparel company. I have a coffee company. I help brands market their products. We produce content for other brands. And I guess overall, I like to think that we create. We create stuff. That's what I hope it is. Growing up, it always, I guess, feels like you want to say like it was an average thing, but the reason it feels that way is because it's the only one you know. But all in all, things were good. Mom and dad, great. Dad passed away in 2014, and he and mom were married up until then. They were great parents, really supportive of whatever we decided to chase. They exposed us to things as well. I remember, now looking back at childhood, and while we grew up in the South in Louisiana, and so sports are kind of part of the deal of gonna play football or going to do those type of things, we also were exposed to art lessons and, piano lessons and some stuff that in the time I definitely didn't appreciate, but now that I'm almost 40, I'm really glad that I have some experience in doing those things. Having that background was really cool, and being exposed to a lot of different things was really interesting. I realize now kind of the more uniqueness of growing up in southern Louisiana and what we're exposed to there with, I guess, hunting and fishing and doing the swamp stuff. Most of my friends I know haven't trapped any alligators, and that's a thing I've done a lot of. So my experience growing up in Louisiana was pretty great. Played sports, had some success there, found success through that in high school, made good grades, and then went on to college and on a track and field scholarship to LSU. Followed that through college and realized I didn't enjoy academics that much, but I like throwing things. And so it was great. I have one brother who's 5 years older than I am and is a fantastic role model and has been a huge influence. I really wonder what childhood would have been without that, without, an older brother who was excelling in sports and who was excelling in school, and I didn't see getting in trouble and fucking up, and I admired a lot. And having that role model to be in my house, I think shaped a lot of stuff and definitely probably saved me a lot of headache that I had a good plan to look at. But overall, man, I can't say that there was anything crazy about my childhood other than, hunting alligators and having rad parents that fully love me. First interest in what I'm doing now. So the origination of Hate Brand started in 2014. That's when we sold our first shirt, was in October of 2014. I had wrote about Hate Brand, or I'd wrote about the hate, the philosophy behind it, this idea of eliminating your own bullshit through movement or mindset or motivation or whatever it takes, but to figure out those parts of you that are the weak link and work on that and control what you can, and don't listen to that voice that okay is going to be good enough. I spoke about that and admiring that in athletes in one of the books I wrote very early on in my Highland Games career. And that's when that brand started. But it's kind of interesting now looking back on everything and seeing where influence started, because I tour managed for a buddy's band, and one of the things I really loved doing for them was selling merch and helping design band t-shirts. I had a bike shop in 2005 that didn't succeed, and I really enjoyed making shirts for it and designing the actual space of the business, the branding and doing all that. I didn't have any of the ability to run a business at that point. And so I guess looking at that, like that side of stuff has always been interesting to me, to the creative side of being able to produce art, make clothes, get into more graphic design t-shirt type of style, and then fuck man, have the opportunity to make what I want is really it. Like I want to have all the spaces and all the things in my world mine. I don't need a ton of them, but whatever's mine, I want to be pretty fucking perfect of my universe. And being able to design clothes has been really, really rad, which has led to, because I can get stuff made, well, why don't I try to make what my favorite coffee would be? And so I did. And now I have Habit. And so we sell it. And then I wanted to have a podcast and be able to communicate with people and have a reason to invite guests in and have people to talk to learn from them. And so we created that and figure out a way to get that content to everyone. And I love all of it. I love the creating. I like the making something new to get out there that didn't exist beforehand. It's been a lot of fun. And so, what started in 2014, like I can clearly now see 10 years before that where skills were starting to get developed to do what I do now. And so it's just been a long road. There was a handful of years I punched out and went with a regular career and job. After I failed with the bike shop, it was time to pay off some debt, lick some wounds, and figure out another chance to take the attack again. And then I came through the opportunity of the apparel brand, and we're running with the ball as far as we can. The question about like having doubt, I did when I had the first bike shop. I really believed it. I remember at that point going into it that I had the feeling of if I build it, it'll work. Like I just didn't have any concept of failure, and it failed. So at least I know what that is. And then when I began running Hate Brand in 2014, I had a real job in the petrochemical field, a career that I'd been following for 10 years, that I grew this thing in my spare time. And so I don't need it to survive. I don't need the income from it. And so I can take risk. I can try new things. And so I've given it the freedom to really let it become what it wants to be without me having to push too hard in a direction for sales. That freedom really created a lot of room and honesty within the brand, through 2017. But man, the fear of it going bad, yeah. I mean, it's not like it's always been up years. Like there's down years too. And that's part of it. Like you got to survive the downs. You got to be able to problem solve and figure it out, because the way I look at it is, whether it's a downturn in the economy, or I can say an algorithm changed, or whatever's the reason that sales are going a direction I wouldn't prefer them to. It's a problem that needs to be figured out. That's as simple as it is. And until I see every single apparel company go out of business, someone's figuring it out. That means it can be solved. And it's just a matter of continuing to try plugging things in the machine to figure out what works better. And so the idea of failure at this point, I fail all the fucking time. I just fail a lot smaller. You know, I don't have it all riding on, fuck, if this one doesn't go, we're done. You're able to spread out the failures, and you're able to, I don't know, understand that they're not as important as I guess I was scared of them at a younger age. Like, you know, the teams that work for me, one of the things I want is I want people taking action, and I want people making decisions. You know, make decisions, let's look at the results, and then we make another fucking decision. That's it. It was either what we wanted to happen or didn't want to happen. Do more or less. And so I want people who make decisions and want to fail forward. And I think the better you get at making repetitions and listening to the results of those repetitions to drive what the next decision is, the better you can listen to smaller failures. And so, you know, not believing in myself, I have times as well. Like, there's plenty of times where I feel like I'm completely maxed out on all the things I'm doing, and whether that's a big production filming thing, or it's running a business, or it's trying to come up with new ideas, or even the marketing or story or mentorship, or having something to say that's poignant. I have times where I have to honestly, because I know people doing it bigger, and I know people doing the same thing at a smaller scale, and there has to be a time where I look at it and go, fuck, I don't know that I have what it takes to do what that guy does. And that's an okay thing to realize. I have tons of friends who are doing incredible shit that I know I don't have what it takes to do what they do. And it's just incredible to watch. It's not a knock on how I do my thing. And if I set failure or success, like, it really depends on where you want to describe that. Because, I mean, if I got to chase my dreams for 3 or 4 years running my own business and I'm learning a lot from it, I don't know where the failure part is. You know, I don't know, man. Failure to me is reaching the end of the fucking ride and wondering a bunch of what ifs. Not interested. I'd rather fail now. That's a relatively common thing. What motivates you to keep going? What motivates you? Man, it's simple for me. I'm dying, right? Like, that's the fact. Like, you hear stories about people who get a terminal prognosis from the doctor, and it changes everything, and this attack on their bucket list begins. Well, guess what? I'm dying. Give or take, probably figured my number is going to be 62. At least that's where I'm drawing the line. My dad passed away at 62, the day before I turned 31, and the drive since then has been about making the most of every week that I can. I am going to die. I'm very aware of it. I'm very comfortable with it. I'm aware that between now and then, I don't have any clue of how many days that is. I don't know if I have 2 more years before a car accident and I can't do shit. I don't know if I've got 6 weeks. I don't know if I've got 40 years. But I'm damn sure going to be chasing my dreams for as long as I can. I want to spend as many of those hours and weeks doing things that I'm in love with. Stuff that fuels me to want to do more. Stuff that leaves an impact on people around me. You know, stuff that creates. Whatever that is in people. I'm motivated as fuck by it. And there's so many rad things I want to do in my life, adventure-wise, experience-wise, get to see. Like, as far as travel goes and other cultures, for the tiny amount of time that I get to exist, for one, especially once I'm an adult and can afford to do things, and then mix in the fact that I only get to do it in the timeline that we're in on this planet. I can't even do other planets or universes or whatever the fuck cool's out there. It all has to be here. And there's a ton of amazing stuff here that exists now. And I want to see and do as much of it as I can. And if at the end of my days, it is true that I get this flashback in front of my eyes of my time here, it's going to be a fucking good ride, man. It won't be wasted in a fucking cube. No way. That's what motivates me to go. The definition of success. You know, it's changed over the years. Like, there's been times where I thought making X amount of money would be that. There's times where I thought my lifestyle would equal some form of success. I think most people feel like success is going to mirror happy. And I don't know that those two things are correlated very much. Success for me is the ability to spend as many of my days and my time doing what I want. That to me is the full definition of a successful life, is that I got to answer to someone else as little as possible. That's what I'm into. You know, I think the standard idea of success with the white picket fence and to get the kids and get the success and get the standard job and get that setup that, you know, I think our generation was kind of pushed to a lot of the standard approach to life of like, well, go to college, get out of college, get a wife, you get a wife, you get a kid, you get a kid, you get the house, and then standard job, you're there for 30 years, yahoo, everyone's pumped. It's not for me. I'm not into it. I don't want to pretend I'm going to have freedom in my later years to go do the things I dream about. I want to go and be active now, and I want to pursue them the best way I can, and if I can convince other people to abandon that comfortable life and chase the things they love too and be happier in that plan, I'm going to. That feels successful. To impact other people feels successful. I want to continue to do as many things that bring me enthusiasm and do less things that drain me of energy. I find that to be a successful life. Sure shit don't want to spend a bunch of days bitching about stuff, especially stuff I can't control. Done feeling like a victim. You know, being able to have time and have the ability to spend and nurture relationships that I find valuable. All of those things are really successful to me. I care a lot about my friendships and relationships and the people that I get to spend time with and my mentors and those type of things. And so me having the ability to spend more time with them and give back, you know, requires a certain amount of success, that I have time and freedom to do such a thing. So that feels good, to show them that their time was worth it too. That this plan I believed in was right. You know, I think a lot of people are driven to success to prove people wrong, and that seems fucking really strange to me. I just want to prove me right. I don't care who disagrees. You know, they're over there. I don't fucking give a shit what they have to say. I'm in for the people who put their hands up and are already in the room. Like, I want to do rad shit, and I want to live as full speed of life toward that as I possibly can. That feels successful. I have to find some discomfort in a way and push myself to an arena that I'm not going to be fully safe in. And whether that's, you know, thinking at the edge of what my capabilities of problem solving are, or trying to put people in place, or manage an event, or get people in close, or figure out, you know, a creative plan of attack for doing a restoration on a home and managing the budget. I have to push myself in those areas too to get better at doing those things. I don't think my brain, I don't think my emotions are going to handle those things automatically unless I'm able to test them. And so finding time to push myself to get really uncomfortable under conditions that are favorable to me should allow me to handle more stress and bigger things. And so finding discomfort and finding the stress that I want to adapt to is something that's completely unique to the time that we live in. It's the first time we've ever got to do that. It's normally been really up to our environment and or what our resources are at the time, but we now have spare time. We now have time to wonder about enlightenment or any of these other things, and so I can have time to test myself in the cold tub and see what does that change me. I can try things with psychedelics. I can try saunas and anything I want to fucking do to try to make me better, I'm willing to try. I'm willing to be uncomfortable for it. I'm willing to adventure into whatever that realm is to see what's useful out there. So And I think being uncomfortable is critical. Because life's gonna be. Like, it's always gonna present something that kicks your ass. Especially if you're trying to do something. If you want to fucking sit at home and not accomplish anything and chill on the couch and whatever that is, like, it probably won't be that tough. So, not really talking to you anyway. But if you're out there and you want to fucking chase your dreams, like, it's tough. It's really fucking hard. For everyone on every scale. And it's hard to hold it. Like, it's never going to be there. So you always have to be willing to just figure out the next problem and continue to build and continue to learn to problem solve and adapt and change and get smarter and grow. You have to be able to do those type of things and be able to manage more stress than I could in the past. I need to figure out how to explain and communicate my ideas better than I could before so that there isn't a misinterpretation of what I'd like to get accomplished. Or communicate ideas. There's so many skills that are valuable to learn, but you don't just get them. Like, it's not a shock that I'm a bad carpenter. It's because I've never fucking taken any time to cut a bunch of wood. It's not a natural thing. You're not just naturally gifted at communicating. This has taken a lot of time and a lot of repetitions. You're not naturally good at designing shirts, but I've held myself to a standard. I got better at editing video because I agreed to put out a video every day for 2 years. You got to suck at stuff. And that's what creates change. Like, that change is critical. You're changing anyway. I'm not who I was 10 years ago, nor the fuck am I who I am 10 years from now. Your cells are different every 7 years. You are a different person. And you have an opportunity every single day to decide who you want to be, who you want to change and become. You can pick all of those traits. None of them have to come from the days before for you. You want to be someone that gets up early and gets disciplined. Guess what? You have to fucking do those things. All you are is a summation of all the actions you choose to take every day. So make the decisions to choose the ones to change to be the thing you want to be. I think change is important. I think forcing yourself to do it's good. Otherwise, I'm just going to get changed by the things that find me. And that's being on the defensive a lot. I'd rather be on the gas.